month of May, Sagittarius A black hole. Now, scientists from the Event Horizon Telescope facility have revealed the first images of black hole named Sagittarius A at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. Now, Sagittarius A is a supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy, that is Milky Way. It is located near the border of constellation Sagittarius and Scorpius. Sagittarius A possesses 4 million times the mass of Sun and is located 26,600 light years from Earth. The diameter of Sagittarius A is about 17 times that of Sun, meaning it would sit within the innermost planet, Mercury's solar orbit. Event Horizon Telescope project is Earth-sized telescope array consisting of a global network of radio telescopes. In 2019, the Event Horizon Telescope revealed the first ever images of black hole M87 star, the black hole at the center of another galaxy Messier 87, which is a supergiant elliptical galaxy. Now, event horizons. Black holes are extraordinarily dense objects with gravity so strong that not even light can escape, making viewing them extremely challenging. A black hole's event horizon is the point of no return beyond which anything, stars, planet, gas, dust, and all forms of electromagnetic radiation gets dragged. Now, the image of Sagittarius A gave support to the idea that compact object at the center of a galaxy is indeed a black hole, strengthening Einstein's theory of relativity. Moving on to signs of life on Europa, a moon of Jupiter, sorry. A team of researchers from Stanford University have said that Europa might have an abundance of water pockets beneath the formations called double ridges. Now, Europa is the sixth largest moon in the solar system and Jupiter's fourth largest satellite. It was discovered in 1610 by Galileo Galilei. Europa is slightly smaller than Earth's moon, and its diameter is about one fourth of that of Earth. Europa's surface is mostly solid water ice and is crisscrossed by fractures. Europa has a very thin oxygen atmosphere. It is considered one of the most promising places in the solar system to find life beyond Earth. It is also believed that underneath Europa's icy surface of amount of water is twice that on Earth. The researchers have found that double ridges found on the Europa's surface are similar to those seen on Earth's Greenland ice sheet. The researchers suggest that it could indicate that shallow liquid water is present over Europa's ice shell. Now, future missions to Europa. NASA is expected to launch its Europa Clipper in 2024. The module will orbit Jupiter and conduct multiple close flybys to Europa to gather data on Moon's atmosphere, surface, and its interior. Moving on to standard model of physics, the researchers from Collider detected at Fermilab collaboration with USA have made the announcement about the precise measurement of mass of W bosons. The experimentally observed mass is heavier than theoretical predictions by standard model of elementary particles. This has raised questions about the incompleteness of the standard model. Now, the standard model of elementary physics is a theoretical construct in physics that describes particles of matter in their interaction and their interaction. It is a description that views the elementary particles of the world as being connected by a mathematical symmetries, just as an object and its mirror image are connected by a bilateral, that is left-right symmetry. So the fundamental particles of standard model describes the universe in terms of 17 fundamental particles, that is 6 quarks, 6 leptons, the massless photon, massive W, that is charged neutral, and Z bosons, which carries the weak nuclear forces, and massive Higgs bosons, which gives mass to all massive particles, and the massless gluons, which carries the strong nuclear forces and their antiparticles. So these are the particles. The blue ones represent the quarks and the bottom ones represents the leptons, whereas the orange one represents the gauge bosons and the yellow one at the center is the Higgs boson. Moving on, incompleteness of the standard model. It gives a unified picture of only 3 of the 4 fundamental forces of nature, that is electromagnetic, nuclear, weak nuclear, and strong nuclear forces. It is not able to explain gravitational forces. The model does not include a description of dark matter particles. So far, these have been detected only through their gravitational pull on surrounding matter. Now, W bosons was discovered in 1983. W boson is a fundamental particle together with Z bosons, which is responsible for weak forces, one of the four fundamental forces that govern the behavior of matter in universe. The W boson, which is electrically charged, changes the very makeup of the particle. It switches between protons into neutrons and vice versa through weak forces, triggering nuclear fusion and letting stars burn. Moving on to Gagan, satellite based augmentation system. Now, an ATR 72-600 aircraft operated by Indigo Airlines have made a landing in Kishan Nagar Airport using an approach process guided by Gagan, that is GPS aided geo augmented navigation. With this trial, India has joined USA, Japan, and European Union with its own satellite based augmentation system, that is CBAS. It has been developed by ISRO and the Airport Authority of India. It is a satellite-based augmentation system developed to provide the best possible navigation service over the Indian flight information region with the capability of expanding to neighboring flight information regions. While Gagan is primarily meant for aviation, it can provide benefits to several other segments such as intelligent transportation, maritime, highways, railways, security agencies, and telecom, among others. Now, working of the Gagan. Gagan uses a system of ground reference stations which are in Delhi, Guwahati, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Thiruvananthapuram, Bengaluru, Jammu, and Port Blair to provide necessary augmentation to the GPS navigation signal. These are positioned across the country, collect GPS satellite data. Using this information, the Master Control Center in Bengaluru generates messages to collect any signal errors. These correction messages are then broadcasted through geostationary communication satellites to receiver on board aircraft using same frequency as GPS. Now, Gagan covers the area from Africa to Australia and has the capability to cater to 45 reference stations for expansion to neighboring countries. The system is interoperable with the international SBAS systems like American Wide Area Augmentation System, the European Geostationary Navigation Overlay Service, and the Japanese MTSAT Satellite Augmentation System. Moving on to Global Declaration on the Future of Internet, the US and 60 countries have signed a declaration called Declaration for the Future of Internet. India, China, and Russia are among the countries who didn't sign the declaration. Now, the declaration has been signed with a vision to champion a single interconnected communication system for all of humanity amid surging state sponsored or condoned malicious behavior. It is focused to advance a positive vision for the internet and digital technologies. The principles are commitment to protecting human rights and fundamental freedom of all people, promote a global internet that advances the free flow of information, advancing inclusiveness and affordability in connectivity, promote trust in the global digital ecosystem, including through protection of privacy, protecting and strengthening the multi stakeholder approach to govern that keeps the internet running for benefit of all. These principles are not legally binding but should be rather used for a reference for public policy makers as well as citizens, businesses, and civil society organizations. Now, there have been a recent rise in repression of internet freedom by some authoritarian governments, the use of digital tools to violate human rights, and growing impact of cyber attacks, the spread of illegal content and disinformation, and excessive concentration of economic power. In the backdrop of this, the declaration was needed to have free and open internet. Moving on to exploitation of old computers and connected devices as botnets. Now, unpatched computers, that are those computers with obsolete software lacking security features and misconfigured smart and connected devices in India, are being used as botnets by hackers to run distributed denial of services, that is DDoS attacks. Now, the word robot and network together give rise to the term botnet. Botnet refers to a network of hijacked internet connected devices that are installed with malicious codes known as malware. Each of these infected devices is known as bots, and the hacker or cyber criminal known as bot herders remotely controls them. Now, botnets can be used to perform distributed denial of services attack, steal data, send spam, and allow the attacker to access the device and its connection. Now, India has a host of botnets, according to a report published by US based cybersecurity firm A10 networks, India hosts 10% of the world's bot networks, the second highest in the world after China. The target sector for botnet based DDoS attacks include telecom firms, government infrastructure, healthcare provider, and even big technology firms. The report has also found that the state-run telco BSNL was the fourth most exploited company in the world in terms of its cyber infrastructure being used for botnets. Around 5% of the world's botnet originated from devices with BSNL's internet protocol addresses. Experts have said the lack of adequate cybersecurity awareness or standards among small companies and government organizations, along with the use of old and outdated Windows machines, is leading the growth in compromised devices. Moving on to certain directive regarding VPN, a new directive from Computer Emergency Response Team, that is CERT, mandates the VPN service providers to maintain all customer data for 5 years. Service providers argue that this will impact privacy of users. The directive mandates the service providers of virtual private network service to maintain all the customer data for 5 years. This includes the information like purpose for which the customer used their services, their validated addresses and contact numbers, and the ownership pattern of the customers. Now, any and all devices connected to internet are part of a large network of computers, servers, and other devices spread across the world. To identify each device connected to the internet, service providers globally assigns a unique address to each such device called the Internet Protocol address. It is this IP address that helps websites, law enforcement agencies, and even companies track down individual users and their accurate location. Now, a VPN, when switched on, essentially creates a safe network within the larger global network of internet and masks the IP address of the user by rerouting the data. Acting as a tunnel, a VPN takes data originating from one server and masks it in a different identity before delivering it to the destination server. In essence, a VPN creates several proxy identities for data and delivers it safely without disturbing the content of the data. Now, moving on to genetically modified mosquito to control vector-borne diseases. Now, Oxitec, which is a UK-based company, has said that the first open-air study of genetically modified mosquitoes in the US has yielded positive results. Now, GM mosquitoes have their genome altered using recombinant DNA technology. Their genome is altered in a way to favor few desired physiological traits and generation of desired biological products. Aedes aegyptis mosquitoes spread viruses including dengue, Zika, and chikungunya. Among them, only female mosquitoes bite. They need a blood meal to produce eggs. Male mosquitoes do not bite. They feed on nectar from flower. Hence, to reduce the spread of these viruses, GM mosquitoes have been developed. GM mosquitoes are mass produced in a laboratory to carry a self limiting gene which prevents female mosquitoes' offerings from surviving to adulthood. A fluorescent marker gene which glows under special red light and allows the researchers to identify them in wild. Now, about the experiment, scientists have programmed male mosquito to carry a gene that will be passed on to their offsprings when they mate in the wild. The gene is designed to kill female offsprings. The male offsprings live on to pass the gene along when they mate. As each generation's mate, more females die, and the A. aegyptis population in the area will decrease. The concerns range from modified mosquitoes harming people, their impact on mosquito eating species, and other unintended consequences such as emergence of deadly virus. Moving on to the threat of monkeypox disease. The monkeypox disease has spread to 19 countries with more than 130 confirmed cases as of 4th week of May of 2022. It is a viral zoonotic disease, that is a disease that is transmitted from infected animals to humans that occurs primarily in the tropical rainforest area of Central and West Africa. It is occasionally exported to other regions. Monkeypox belongs to the orthopox virus, which is a genus of virus that includes the varroa virus and causes smallpox. It was first discovered in 1958 following the outbreak of pox-like disease in colonies of monkeys kept for research, which led to the name monkeypox. The first human case was recorded in 1970 in the Democratic Republic of Congo during a period of intensified efforts to eliminate smallpox. Now, the human to human transmission is limited. However, transmission can occur through contact with bodily fluids, lesions on skin, and on internal mucal surfaces such as mouth or throat, respiratory droplets, and contaminated objects. It begins with a fever, headache, muscle aches, back aches, exhaustion, etc. It also causes the lymph nodes to swell, which smallpox does not. Incubation period. The incubation period time from infection to the symptoms from monkeypox is usually 7 to 14 days, but can range for 5 to 21 days. The mortality rate, according to WHO, the proportion of patients who die has varied between 0 and 11% in documented cases and has been higher among young children. Now, there is no safe proven treatment for monkeypox yet. The WHO recommends supportive treatment depending on symptoms. Awareness is important for the prevention and control of the infection. Now, burden of cancer in India. The Indian Medical Council Research has released a report titled Burden of Cancers in India. Cancer cases in India. The number of Indians suffering from cancer in 2021 was around 26.7 million. The highest incidence was in North, that is 2,408 patients per 1 lakh population, and Northeast, that is 2,177 per 1 lakh population. Cancer cases were higher among men. 7 types of cancer accounted for more than 40% of the total disease burden, which are lung cancer, breast cancer, esophagus cancer, mouth cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, and cervix uteri cancer. Now, Mizoram, Delhi, Meghalaya had the highest cancer disability adjusted life year, that is DALI, and the most vulnerable demographic are in people are in the range of 65 to 69 years age group. Now, DALI is a measure of overall disease burden expressed as a number of years lost due to ill health, disability, or early death. Now, future projections on cancer cases in India. The number of Indians suffering from cancer is projected to increase to 29.8 million in 2025. Major factors contributing to increased rise of cancers: tobacco and alcohol consumption, increasing consumption of packaged foods with harmful preservatives and junk food, obesity, radiation from mobile phone towers, vegetable grows in toxic water like rivers near industries, alteration in food and artificial coloring of food and vegetables. That will be it.